This is a laundromat that's behind me, and I talked to a man who is renting 2 units attached to this building on the back side of it. He and other people who live in the area think what happened was the front half of the roof snapped back onto the back half of the roof. I thought it was a construction site when I drove by it earlier. I had to come back and see that that actually wasn't true. We also know that all of the homes that still have their internal plumbing in place, those homes that are still livable, they do have running water, but it's not drinkable right now because the sanitation plant for the city was damaged, but people can shower and use their toilets. What happened was a water line broke on the 5th floor around 3 p.m., and that water spread all the way down to the 1st floor. Drive-through testing for COVID-19 still requires some protective equipment as doctors lean in to administer a test, but it's a lot less than if someone had to be brought into a hospital where they could infect others or possibly catch something themselves. The new Disability Services Center has technology that allows you to put a document down and magnify it, zoom in, and even switch between black and white. There are people, though, who feel the department still has a ways to go after it failed to punish an officer involved in an illegal search and seizure in 2019.
Hey, you just jaywalked all over the street right here. Do you mind using the sidewalk for me?
Yes, sir.
Police don't generally pay a lot of attention to jaywalking.
Is that cool? I don't want to write you a ticket.
When they do, it's usually not the only charge involved. ICPD officers stopped and searched a black man they believed to be a felon in possession last December. Seen here on vest camera footage obtained through an open records request. Officer Travis Neild made the initial stop.
Well, he's jaywalking right now, so I mean there's always that. But I don't recognize him either.
Neild received a tip the man had something heavy in his pocket. He initiated the stop for jaywalking and once backup moved in, arrested the man.
Stop!
That man was Chris Kelly, who was previously convicted of a felony. He was carrying a weapon that day, which convicted felons cannot do. But that was all discovered after the stop. Eric Tyndall is an Iowa City lawyer who's reviewed this case.
They didn't identify who this individual was exactly, nor were they able to really identify what he may have been carrying.
A federal judge ruled in August that officers lacked evidence to suspect Kelly of a serious crime and did not have enough to warrant a jaywalking stop, violating his Fourth Amendment rights.
It wasn't a just reason to do it.
People were upset by the incident, and more upset when they realized Officer Neild was community relations officer for 2 months while the case was being reviewed.
Which honestly infuriated a lot of people. I mean, I've heard people in the South District saying that that's like a slap in the face.
Amel Ali has lived in Iowa City for 20 years. She's on the new Truth and Reconciliation Commission. The department updated its policies in October to make jaywalking and things like tinted windows secondary violations. Minor infractions can no longer be the sole reason for pulling someone over. Ali is happy the policy is changing, but doubts it will convince the people who really mistrust police.
The African American community, or the population that is uneasy with police officers, isn't watching city council meetings and seeing these new policies be put in place.
The city admits what happened to Chris Kelly does not help them get closer to the community.
Anytime that's done, there is a societal cost that hinders our ability to build relationships. And I think that's what the learning moment is here.
City officials say this policy change is just a first step. Ali says it has to be if the city truly wants zero tolerance for biased policing.
And I know this is hard right now because we have just like an interim police chief, but someone coming out and saying, hey, we messed up. I think that would have gone a lot further.
Her name was Margaret Lee.
I called her Aunt Lil.
A year ago today, very few Iowans thought they would lose a loved one to COVID-19.
When we first heard about it, we thought it would stay contained and it'd just be something that we'd hear about.
It hit for Heidi Barkhoff in November when she lost her Aunt Lillian.
One night she had a bad night, and the next day they said that they needed people to say goodbye.
She's one of the thousands of people for whom the pandemic will leave a lasting mark.
I feel like it's becoming more and more frequent that I meet someone that has had a relationship with someone that has been affected by COVID and even died from COVID.
Quinter Harvey lost his close family friend, Margaret.
Definitely made me more aware of how closely it affects people.
If you haven't lost a loved one, take a moment and be thankful. We can all make good choices to stop the spread and stop adding names to this list.
Hopefully, a lot of people are willing to accept getting the vaccine, that we will see an end to this.
Thank you, Jerry. Good to see us.
When Bob Jen put out the call on Facebook 2 weeks ago, he had no idea how many people would show up for his mom's birthday.
Just go into the overflow.
Come Saturday, well over 100 people showed up for his mom Viva's 105th birthday and her second cousin Mary's 104th.
Hi.
How's it going?
From firefighters to farmers to family, everyone was there.
Hi, Jane. Thank you, Jane.
The outpouring of the community is, besides family and friends, is just tremendous.
Each person bringing their own personal touch. Bob is thankful that people took the time to make memories with them. It was a safe way to come together when we still may feel far apart.
They're getting cards from people that really don't know because it's such a special deal.
Did you know you had this many friends?
Oh, not really. I sure got a lot of them, though.
In Hills, Travis Breese, News 7, KWWL.